It is my delight to introduce you to Masih Alinejad, who is the founder of My Stealthy Freedom. And she has been living in exile since 2009 and has made it her mission to give voice to so many through social media. And I want to start by talking to you a little bit about My Stealthy Freedom, because in this city of media, you really have used social media to create a megaphone for so many. And it started with a photo of you running through blossoms. Tell us about it.
The same photo. Yeah, maybe it doesn't make any sense for any of you that why we're fighting for just showing our hair. Yeah. Before coming to this event, I was just, as all of you, using the mirror to make my hair beautiful, right, to make myself beautiful, to make myself look good. But every day in Iran, from the age of 7, you use mirror on the opposite side to make yourself somebody else, to make yourself, when you are not yourself, I can say that to make yourself ugly. So for me, as a woman, it's not just about a piece of cloth. It's about my own identity. It's about myself, my true self. So I published a picture of myself running in a street, feeling the wind through my hair. And writing a caption. Yeah. Every time when I run in a free country and I feel the wind through my hair, it just reminds me of 30 years. My hair was like a hostage in the hands of Iranian government. And that caption got a lot of attention from Iranian women, envying my freedom from compulsory hijab and saying that we wish we had the same freedom. And I just went back to my albums, and I found a lot of pictures without headscarf in Iran. Yeah. So I published one of them, which was me driving down a road towards my hometown. And again, I published that one soon after with that caption. This is me in Iran. I'm an Iranian woman like all of you, and I know how to bypass the authority. We know that we don't have freedom inside Iran, but when we don't see the police around, we know how to take off our scarf and create the moment of freedom, like guilty pleasure, and in stealth, in secret. So if you want to share your picture with me, I'm here. I was just, I didn't expect.
Yeah, what did you expect?
I didn't expect that I'm going to be bombarded by pictures. All women taking, off their scarves in public, like a bird's wing above their head. I was enjoying, and in a way, I was really, really scared that I might put themselves in danger.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk to you about that because you were quoted in an article as saying, the scarf was a part of my body, and unveiling was a long psychological process.
Yeah, I was not looked like this always. As you saw my picture, I grew up in a traditional family in a small village. And so my family was really, I can say, extremist. And I had to wear a headscarf in front of my family from the age of 7.
Which is pretty rare, right? Even among families, usually people
As I said, when the hijab became compulsory, a lot of family, they were just crying for their daughters because it changed their life. But my family was another, it was another story. But so that made me here, to be here and speak out. And when you wear hijab from the early age, it just, can be part of your body, part of your identity. It's not as easy to take off your scarf and say, this is me. No. I had to fight with my family. I had to fight with the society I grew up. I had to fight with the government. I was worried about all judgment, about the people in my village. For me, it was important to not, shame my family. Yeah. And it was not easy. It took me 3 years outside Iran to go on TV and without a scarf. That's why my freedom was stealthy, was secret, was hidden inside Iran. That's why when I published a picture and I used the word stealthy, women of Iran, they had a lot of memories. Because as a woman, if in Iran, if you want women not doing anything, just tell them, don't do that, and then they do it, definitely.
Right.
So we are not allowed to sing solo. We are not allowed to dance. We are not allowed to have an education without getting permission from our father. We are not even allowed to get married. And then after marriage, we are not allowed to go and have a job without getting permission from our husband. We are not allowed to travel abroad without getting permission from our husband. We are not allowed to have a passport without getting permission from our husband. So this is all illegal in Iran. But we do everything underground, stealthily. That's why the women of Iran, they have memories about going out with their boyfriends, with their partner, having a relation, being in love with anyone. So when you call them that, share your stealthily freedom, that's why I was bombarded. And now when they talk loud, we can't say that we are stealthy, we are in secret. We are out there, and everyone around the world, they see a real face of Iran, the new image of Iran. Sometimes when I said that I'm Iranian, people say, Iran, Iraq, oh, you wear burqa? So this is the government of Iran. When you go inside Iran, the only thing that you can understand this is Islamic Republic of Iran, it's through women. Why? Because they're wearing hijab. But now you can see the hidden face of Iran, which you never see through Iranian state TV or any official media.
You mentioned safety, and I wonder if you fear for some of the people who are putting their photos up, who are sharing their stories, who are enjoying their moment of stealthy freedom, because it's one thing to be doing it in virtual reality, and it's another thing to be in a jail in Iran.
Being a woman is danger. I mean, I'm often asked this question, you putting people in danger.
Yeah.
But women, whether they send their pictures to me or not, they are in danger.
Yeah.
How? Within a year, 3.6 million women were warned and stopped by the morality police industry. Why? Because of not wearing a proper Islamic hijab. So those women did not send the pictures to me. Or within 8 months, there were 40,000 cars were confiscated by morality police. Why? Because the drivers were not wearing proper Islamic hijab. So these women did not send their pictures to me. But this is the only way for those women who are already in danger to be heard. So
to have a voice.
Yeah, they know that. They've been, for more than 30 years. So it has been 37 years that hijab is just the most visible symbol of oppression. Yes, we know that this is a small piece of cloth. But when this piece of cloth is in the hand of those government who do not believe in hijab, and they've beaten you to make you be pure, and they always try to convince you that this is good for you, and they take your identity away from you. So this is the only way that they can be heard by the rest of the world and their own governments. So this is a punishable crime. And her crime was just showing not the whole hair. And it's unbelievable that when we talk about hijab, I often get some comments, especially from men, saying that Middle East has got bigger problems. Iran has bigger problems.
And in fact, a lot of reporters will ask you that question, right?
Every time they say that, so why you're focusing on a small issue? To me, this is not a small issue. It's about human dignity. To me, it's about my identity. I don't want anyone to tell me what I have to wear. And that's why the girl was screaming. She could have just said, yes, okay, I'm going to promise you next time I'm going to fully cover my hair. But this is not about small piece of cloth. It's about human dignity. It's about being my true self. Every time when you want to go out, next day think about it.
Just today, you have exposed another story that's been going on stealthy, going for years, and that's sexual harassment. And in this case, it was a very high-profile case dealing with a quite high-profile news anchor, right? Sheena Shirani, who was facing real harassment for years and finally recorded it. And the contrast you see is between this very conservatively dressed, beautiful anchor and the pretty horrendous and extended sexual harassment that she was facing.
So, but thank you for giving me the opportunity, because how ironic. About a year ago, That was the TV anchor of Iranian state TV. About a year ago, Iranian state TV faked my rape. Why? They were saying that Masih started to uncover herself, so she's not fully covering herself. She was raped by 3 men in London. And they were not even ashamed to make my teenager son as a witness.
And they reported this on TV.
And they reported on TV, the main news channel, saying that I was raped because I was not wearing hijab. So I couldn't do anything. So my mother and my father, they live in a small village. They don't have internet. They don't know how to use Facebook, Instagram, nothing. All they just get the information is from Iranian state TV. My mother was calling me and crying because she was worried about the honor of the family. And my son was with me. I was crying, and my son was laughing and saying, "Mom, you won," because they can't do anything. They can't go and arrest these huge number of the women who's sharing their pictures. That's why they're attacking you. So, but the story broke me and broke my family's heart. And after 1 year, and now I broke a story of a real sexual harassment inside the Iranian television organization.
Perpetrated by somebody incredibly powerful.
And I was crying with that journalist. She was inside Iran with the anchor while I was interviewing her. She escaped Iran. She escaped Iran because she wanted to speak out. She couldn't take it anymore. But the thing is, they were every day warning the anchor that you have to fully cover yourself. They got really aggressive, mad, and angry with me. Why? Because I was encouraging women of Iran to take off their scarf and say no to compulsory hijab. And they were the Iranian state TV trying to convince the society that if you take off your hijab, you are going to be raped like Masih Alinejad. Why they made this fake news about rape? Because they were thinking, in their mind, they raped the women. And that shows the sick mind of this government. And that shows even the hijab is not going to protect and save women from rape. This is about the government. And that's why I want to speak out. That's why this is not a small problem. Because they're all linked together. And we're dealing with this government. And I was crying with the female anchor of the Iranian state TV who attacked me last year. And I was just shaking when I was hearing the audio file. And thank you, Tina Brown, for giving me the opportunity to bring the story here as well. You can stop me, I talk too much.
No, it's good, it's good. There's so many places to go in this conversation, and I want to take you back a little bit, because you are a young activist now, but you were even younger in 2009. Right? And you were part of the Green Revolution, which was young people taking to the streets, arguing for their freedoms on camera 2 years before the Arab Spring captured everybody's imagination with young people pushing and fighting for change. And now you're a mother yourself, and you're working with mothers who don't know what happened to their children, who were part of those protests. And as a parent, you cannot begin to imagine what that is like for those mothers. And you have taken on the cases of trying to help these mothers find out what happened to their children.
That was my main focus, because I was a political journalist. And when I had a name. Why? Because I got expelled from Iranian parliament. That's how we make name in Iran. People get award when they write about corruption, so we get kicked out by Iranian parliament. And I had a name. So when I left Iran, the 2009 election happened, and the government stole the election. And then people got the street. They took the street to protest with empty hand. More than 100 people got shot, got into prison and beaten to death. So the government of Iran were denying the killings. So that was the only way that I could use my name and go back to those people and ask them through social media, if you know anyone who got killed or who got into prison. Just put me in touch with them. So because all my colleagues were arrested inside Iran, and they had no newspaper inside Iran during demonstration, so started to interview the family of those people who got killed. And one mother has got one pain. But when you talk to 57 mothers and family who share their pains with you, it was not easy for me. So I was totally depressed because I was dealing with those mothers who sharing their pain through the phone with me and giving me the details about how their children got tortured to death. And they were brave. They were really brave. But my Facebook page was cheerless, full of sorrow and sad news. And they were my courages.
I want to talk to you personally for a moment, because this fight for public justice has a personal cost. And if you spend time with people who do things like you do, you know that nobody is a hero all the time and nobody is courageous all the time. I mean, you went to jail at 19 for handing out leaflets against the government. In 2005, you exposed corruption in Parliament and were banned. And you haven't seen your parents in person since 2009.
I promised myself that I'm not going to cry anymore. Yeah. But the thing is, these are my family. I have to make a decision to go back to Iran and hug my family, my own family, and forget about these families. Because outside Iran, I had the chance to be the voice of those mothers, to be the voice of 57 family who never had the chance to speak out inside Iran. And when the members of European Parliament or female politicians, they go and visit Iran, they never talk about them. So it's not about just interviewing them and forget them and just close the file. It's about empowering them. It's about giving them the power to speak out with because the government of Iran do not want to hear them, with the government around the world. As you know, after nuclear deal and nuclear talk, Iranian government used to call America break Satan. By the way, I used to burn your flag a lot when I was a kid. And Iranian government now talking with their big enemy, but they don't dare to talk with their own people. Of course, people of Iran are really happy about nuclear deal. Why? Because they don't want to be isolated. Because that was just the people of Iran were suffering from sanction. They do not want to be isolated. So the nuclear deal makes them happy. But the main concern is this. They're going to bury the human rights under the nuclear deal. So this is the time when I work with the mothers, when I work with the women inside Iran, and I share their story with the rest of the world. I don't want to show the ugly side of my own country to you, because I love my country. And I know this is an internal matter. And every time when I want to talk with the people in the West or any country, it breaks my heart, because I know that some people might think that why I'm here, I'm showing the ugly part of my own country. And why I'm talking about internal matter with people outside Iran. Because to me, it's not an internal matter. It's about hijab, it's about human rights, and it's about you. If any of you want to go and visit Iran, you will be forced to wear hijab. So it's not about Iranian women. So you might say, okay, we don't want to go to Iran, but you have to go because it's a beautiful country. Because I'm not allowed to go, but you have to go. Right. So it's about all women, not just about Iranian women. And so I was hearing the story of, brave women here, and I was there. And to me, it was like these women were trying to talk to the rest of the world and asking for help to, the girls in Boko Haram, and help for people. But me here, I want to help the female politicians around the world. Because women of Iran, the mothers of Iran, they are not in power, but they are more powerful than the female politician around the world. They don't dare, when they go to Iran, to ask a simple question, and they obey the compulsory rule, and they wear hijab. Catherine Ashton, the members of European Parliament, all the female politicians. Why? Because they think hijab is required by law. Slavery used to be a law. Slavery used to be legal. If no one objected against slavery, nowadays slavery used to be with us. So they don't dare to ask a simple question. I don't want any help from female politicians around the world. I want to help them to stand for their rights, for human dignity. Because the government of Iran, when they travel abroad, when they travel to non-Muslim country, the first thing they ask, remove all the alcohol beverages from any official table, any official dinner. Why? You have to respect the Islamic value. So why don't you ask for human value? Why don't you ask for your own values, for your own human dignities? This is what I want. The women of Iran, they are in danger, and they risk their lives to be hurt by you. But you go there and you give power to those dictators. Of course, we are happy about Iran deal, but this is the time, and I'm calling all the women around the world to stand with us shoulder to shoulder for women deal, for hijab deal, for human rights deal. That's all I want.
Well, it's a very small ask. And I think you've given us a lot to think about, both about the question of whether a headscarf is just a headscarf, and a conversation about what human rights means in a conversation about global politics.
But the main thing, if you give me only 1 minute, I'm often asked, because nowadays I see in the West that showing your sympathy with Muslim women who are wearing hijab is trendy. I'm not against hijab. My mother wears hijab. My sister wears hijab. In fact, all the female in my family, in my small village, they wear hijab. By the way, my village is the best in the world. But the thing is, when we ask people around the world to stand with us and support our cause, they say no. Why? Because it's not trendy anymore. Because nowadays, Deutsche Gabbana, H&M, they stand with the cause to show their sympathy with those women who wear hijab.
You're talking about Dolce Gabbana doing
Dolce Gabbana, yeah.
A headscarf.
It's important to show your
a
sympathy.
Fashion statement.
But the thing is, wearing Barbie girl can be news for CNN, can be news for the Western media. But babies or children in Iran from the age of 7, they are forced to wear hijab, cannot be news for Western media because it's not trendy. So I'm often asked whether I'm against Islam or I'm not worried by talking against compulsory hijab to promote Islamic phobia. No, I'm not against Islam. In Islamic Republic of Iran, this is Islam which is against me from the age of 7. And if you don't want to support our cause just because you're worried about Islamic phobia, this is wrong. This is another way to help Islamic phobia to be gone. Call all the Muslims to join us and show the moderate side of Islam and say no to any oppression against women in the name of Islam. I knew I'm going to talk too much.
And with that, I think we've covered a great deal, and I want to thank you and wish you all the best.
Sure.
With
Thank
your
you
work.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.